Hey guys, welcome back to WebDevMentors YouTube channel, and you're watching Python tutorial series for beginners. So in this video, we're going to see about slicing in Python lists. In the last video itself, I've given you a short or a small hint about slicing in Python, and I also said you that we'll be seeing that later. Now this is the video that's going to elaborate on that particular issue. Now it's not an issue, it's a feature, of course. So we also need to see something more about list. That's also going to be covered in this particular video. Let's first create a file. That's the very important thing. Slicing. Okay. .py. Now you can see that some of the files are missing because I'm jumping from Windows 10 to Windows 8.1, Windows 8.1 to Windows 10. I'm dual booting, of course. So that's something that you have to actually put up with. Let's enter twice in order to get that 2 free lines. Let's create a variable first, which is the list, and then exactly the same thing that we did in the last video. Python program. This time it's a little bit on the inverse side, and I'm going to print it. Now when I run it, you get the exact same thing. So this is what we've seen in the last video, along with how to access every individual element, where the index starts from 0 to the number of elements in the list -1. So now we've also seen something like this, which is called as slicing. So let me actually break the ice right away. This is called as slicing. Now what it does, when you run it, it still gives everything. Why do I need this if I can do this? Now slicing gets really interesting when you use it properly. So I have this. What happens if we want to get only the last 3 elements, not the first element? So I don't want the 0th element, so I want the element from number 1. So I'm going to use that number, and I want the rest of the elements. That's it. It's done. Now what happens if we want the last element alone? Now you might think that, okay, we just have to put this one in here and I will get that. That's not going to work. Let's actually run it and show you what happens. Now you got only Python, which means that the first element alone. Okay, so 0 to 1. That's how it works. I'll explain it later. So in order to get the last element, you just have to put -1, and that's going to give you the last element. Now how it works, just let me come to enter. This is an example for you. Let's actually make it into a center so that it's easy for you. You have a colon, so anything before colon is the starting number, and anything after the colon is the last number, but which is not included in the list. So for example, if I press 0 in here and type 4 in here, this means in slicing, the 0 is the starting number, so it will include 0th element, and the 4 is the last element, which will not be included. So it means 0 to 4, but not included 4. So anything from 0 to 3 will be included in the slicing. So let's actually see that in action. 0 to 4, and do it. Everything is coming. So 0th element is not necessary to actually add. What happens if you do this? Exactly same thing. So if you want to skip out the 0th element, you can actually press 1, because 1 is going to be the starting number. That is going to be the element that is going to be included. The last number, the number that is there after the colon, is going to be excluded from your selection. So keep in your mind that anything before the colon is going to be included in your list. So from that number till the number that is after the colon will be included, but not the number that is after the colon. I don't know how to actually put it in a proper English, but the actual functionality is anything before the colon, any number before the colon is the starting point, and anything after the colon is going to be the ending point, but not the item that is going to be included in this list. So I'm sorry if I cannot able to come up with a proper term or proper sentence to explain this. So this happens like colon -1 will give me the first element. No, it's like 3 elements. How? The explanation is pretty simple. So before colon is going to be the starting element. Now 0 is going to be the first element. Now that is where it's starting. So 0, 1, 2. Now -1, after the colon, the -1 is going to be the last element not included, which means this element will not be included. So if you want to remove just the last element, you just have to add -1 in here. -1 after the colon will just reduce the last element. So it just takes out one element from the number of elements in the list. So that's how it works. If you want to take out the last 2 elements, this is how it works. Now, what happens if you want the last 2 elements but not the first 2 elements? Just the other way around, put the -2 in front of the colon. It works like this. Now, the explanation for this is -2, it starts from -2. So this is the first element, and it goes till the end of this list. So -2, -1, end of the list. That's it. So that is how it works. So let's actually put it like this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3. The other way around, this is -4, this is -3, this is -2, and this is -1. So this is how you have to see a list in Python. So if you are counting from this side, you have to count it like 0, 1, 2, 3. If you're counting from the back side, it's going to be -1, -2, -3, -4. Now you have to use it in a proper way into the slicing in order to make the live in list very, very easy. So you might think that, okay, I probably might not be using this, but when you go into deeper advanced level of Python programming, where you have to handle a big list of data from the database or any kind of big data, you need these kind of slicing in order to take up certain number of values. So for example, you want to take something around 30 values or elements from the list where you have thousands, and you want it somewhere from the middle. You know the index number, but using a for loop in order to go to that part, finding it, taking it out is not going to be a good idea. And also doing this like list of 1, sorry about that, list of 1, list of 2, till list of 30. That's like, I'd rather write it down in my paper. I'd rather write all those data down in my paper. And you might think like, okay, this is the, now you might think that why not use a for loop, like for I in range of blah blah blah, and do that, list of I. Well, it still iterates through 30 numbers, and it still puts load on your program. It's not a best practice. So you have slicing, you use it properly. So what I'm going to do is done. I want something like from the middle. I want something like from 74th value to 104th value. I do this. Simple. Now don't forget, 74th to 104th value is different from 74th to 104, not the 104th value included. Now the reason why I included 105, because I also want the 104th value. If I don't want the 104th value, then I do this because I need the 103rd value. Now it differs how you want to write a program, but make it as simple, make it more efficient and performance based, not just like logic based. Some people just write some codes, some people just keep their head set into writing some performance codes, like make the code as small as possible, but forget that they have to do the logic first. Logic is the important part. The performance optimization can be done later after you find the logical answer. So don't give that much importance to performance optimization right at the beginning. If you're learning the program, if you're doing something, start with finding the logic in programming, not with the performance optimization. So that's one of the tips that anyone, not just the beginner, not just intermediate, not just advanced expert level programmers needs, but anyone who even the creator of the program needs to do that. They do it. That's the reason why they can do it. We have to just adapt like them. Anyway guys, let's see in the next video. I hope this video is useful. Slicing is very, very, very important concept. If you use it, you'll find Python very easy than what you're seeing right now. Anyway, let's see in the next video with something else. I hope there's a lot of things that has to be seen in Python. We'll be seeing that through in this series. See in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and also don't forget to like the video and also share the video with your friends and family. And if you have any comments or feedbacks, please do leave them in the comments, and you can also leave them in the Facebook page. If you have any issues or if you want to contact me, you can use the message feature in the Facebook page, which will be directly answered by me, even the comments in this comment section.